Hey everybody, Mr. Clausen. Just wanted to run through how to plot two lines on one graph using LoggerPro. Very similar to what you're going to need to do in your Buggy Lab. So I have a data set right here. So I got some data. I just put it in Excel so you don't have to sit and watch me type it in. I can just copy and paste. So you would take your data, you have this in your notebook, and you would open up LoggerPro. You'd title your columns position and time, however you want. And we'd put it on there like that, and you'll get the points much like you'd expect. Now, what I'll see a lot of students do, and this is not what you want to do, is they will take their data for the other car, so car 2 in this case, and they'll go in and they'll add it to the same list on LoggerPro. Now, it's clear to see that we have two different lines, but where you run into problems is if you try to use the advanced features, such as fitting the line of best fit so we can get the information we need, it treats those as one data set because that's how we put it into the computer. And so if you want to put two lines on the same graph, what you got to do is make sure that you put your data in as separate data sets. So I'll leave data set 1 in there, and then what I'm going to do is go new data set. And the nice thing about LoggerPro is we already titled these columns position and time. It'll do that again for us. Okay, so I just want to make sure I got the right data here. This is for car 2. I bring it over and I put in my data for car 2 now, and I put it in as a separate data set. Now you might look and be like, well, that didn't change the graph at all, and it's because we haven't told the graph what to do. So if I click on more, we get these drop-down menus, and you can see right now we only have time, which is on our y-axis, from the first data set. So what we want to do is say, give us time from both data sets on this axis. And as soon as we do that, what it will do is it will plot both those sets of data. Now you can see now the different points are different shapes, so now we know we have two different data sets. And what's nice about this is if we add the line of best fit feature, it's going to ask us which ones do we want to do, and we just say we like it for both data sets. And it gives us our lines of best fit and the equations for them and the slope and everything we need, and it does that separately. And so that's the real quick way for how to plot two lines on the same graph. Now, a little tip here, some of the other features you can do. Sometimes it gets confusing to know which line is which. So if this is, it just says data set here, and if you click up on the top of the column, so I'm going back to the data table, if I just click where it says data set, you can actually title this something different. So instead of saying data set, we could call it car red. All right. And then you'll notice that it changes it there, but it also changes it here on the graph. So we know that this line is for the red car. And then we can double click on this one. We could call it car blue. All right. And it changes it there as well. Now, here's another option you can do. If you double click on the columns, it'll bring up the titles. But if you click on options, you can actually go about changing the colors. And so since I did this for the blue car, rather than having it be red, I'll have it show up as blue. And now we get a nice visual of seeing which car is which. Okay. Some of the things I've noticed students haven't been putting on their graphs is a title. So don't forget to do that. If I click on, I just double click up on the top where you would put the title, click on graph options, it'll say the title. So the way we have this one is time and position. So when titling a graph, you would write it time versus position. Okay. It always goes the y-axis versus the x-axis. So in this case, this is a time versus position graph. That's how you plot two lines. If you're looking at this for the Buggy Lab, then what you want to do is you want to take a look at, do we really want to be plotting a time versus position lab, which is how we took the data because the position was our independent variable, or would it be more beneficial for us in our class to set up what would be a position versus time graph? And you know how to do that. You would just come over here, and instead of having time on it, you switch it to position and time. Okay, you still get your different lines. You can still add the points for how you want them. And what we'd want to know is this would actually be more beneficial for us. Okay. Like I said, the video was how to plot 2 points. Reminder, the way to, or plot 2 lines on the same graph. The way to do that, set up 2 different data sets, and then using the graph options, select which data that you want the information from both data sets. All right. If you have any questions, talk to me in class.